today's video is still about getting things done. I've got a plan. My son's got the day off. He's hopefully picking me up. I'm going to do a food shop at Lidl possibly. Then I need to go to the charity shop, get rid of some stuff. Then we might come back and get my food put away, then go to his home, and then possibly the tip. There is a plan in place, but you never know what happens and one thing or another, also depending on the weather. But I'm going to start with this box. This is one that's had things like glue and everything in and paints. So I'm going to quickly go through it. So these are the tapes. They've got a tape box. These are all sort of the glue sticks for my glue gun, double-sided tape. Now all these sort of things I will obviously keep and find a way of storing them. That's more of those little sticky pads, so I'll keep those. That's cardboard. Now this sort of thing I want to make sort of as quick as possible. I've decided any paints in here I'm just going to get rid of, except for these and that one. One of these is brand new, so those I will definitely keep because one belongs to a family member that asked. But what I want to do, because the paints have not been used in so long, that I'm just going to get rid of them. Most of them are like what I use with my granddaughter, things like this. I mean, they're so old now, I'm just getting rid of them. I have got a bin here. It's got a plastic carrier bag in, so if there's any leakages, then they can go. I'm even getting rid of this. I've got to be really strict now in what I keep. More paint, I'm dumping that. So I'm going to put it in here, then I'll probably do a showing that I'm getting rid of. I've got this clear varnish spray. I'm going to keep. That one's fairly new, and so is this chalk French paint. They're definitely going to be kept. Things like that, yes. And I've got this metallic paint here, bronze. Just going to get rid of it. Like I said, some of them I don't know, but any varnishes or whatever. This is a solid black paint from Pep&Co. These were the last things I actually purchased, and Magnetic Gold, I'll keep that one because I know that for a fact. I've got some glues. That is a paint pot for my granddaughter. I'll probably keep that, and sort of these sort of brushes, but I want to try and see if I can store them somewhere in my craft room. That's just paint. Get rid of that. I think that belongs off maybe that one, and that belongs to another pot, one of these. And the brushes I will keep. So these might be mostly glues, so this basket I might end up keeping. Haven't got rid of as much as I was hoping, but there you go. So a lot of these are brand new, so I've got some glue dots, those more double-sided tapes, good to have a review. 2 glue pens. I am not actually 100% sure if they're any good. That's a possible that might end up being got rid of. I've got fabric glue here and more sticky pads, things like that. More glue sticks. These are 3. Like I said, I really don't know. I think what I'm going to do is this one and this one, because I'm not sure how good they are. I might put on my desk and try them, and if they're not any good or whatever, especially glue sticks, I think they do eventually dry up, but I think that's mostly when they're started. I'll see if they work. More sticky pads, like I said, and then more glue. This is why I keep a lot together. That one I'm just going to get rid of. That can go, and that one can go. This one I know was quite recent, wood adhesive, keep that one. And this is tacky glue. This is quite a new one as well. I do try different glues. I keep going back to that UHU, I think it's called, but it is very strong. This is heavy duty spray adhesive. Again, keep that one. And then I've got glue gun here, and got another one here, a brand new one. I think this was my first one, but at the moment I've used, because this is a Boss stick one, I think this was my very first one. I'm using my pink one at the moment, which actually was a 5, if I remember rightly, from Hobbycraft. This one came from Poundland. I think this might have been either £3 or £5, and that's just a button that can go, and that's just a glue spreader thing. So not as much as I thought I'd get rid of, but I've got to find a way of actually corralling all this. At the moment I might just put it back, but I will have to find a way of storing this because still got my big TV. So I'm going to put all this back, so in there. So what I've decided to get rid of, which is not as much as I thought it would, I got this paint here, that paint, glue sticks, that, more paint, and just some cardboard. So not really as much as I thought. I thought I had more paint. I probably had a sort out a while ago, but they're definitely all going. We don't tend to do painting here anyway with my granddaughter anymore, so that's that. So I'm back to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put everything back in here except for those two, which I want to try and see if they're any good. And then I'm going to at some point today, maybe in a little while, I'm going to work out how I'm going to store all these and where I'm going to put them. Ideally, if I've got room, I don't know if I can swap one of my other boxes out. This one does get quite heavy. Is whether this could be actually separated, or bring one of my other boxes down from above that where my large TV is, and see about putting it up there, because there's a lot of glues and everything. I do not need any other glue. As I said, I keep going back to that is it UHU glue, but there you go. So put all those back in there, and then these being quick here, because this is the thing about some of these jobs, not to dwell too much on it, and more. And then the glue is in that one. Actually, that's the paint pot. Go in that one. So keeping it all together, and like I said, sometimes it might not be all about getting rid of stuff. It might be just reviewing what you have. Actually, if I put the lid there, some they will stay in there. Tidy up, more glue. As I said, glues for different things. I've got more glue dots. They will go on my desk. And then I've got a lot of more glue sticks here. They were from Poundland, and this double-sided tape and everything. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not, like foam things, but hey ho, we can always see. So I've got that one here. Fit that in that bit there. So this there, it's tidy, and then I've got these here. So at least I reviewed it. I've got rid of a few bits, and then I've got a few bits to go on my desk or in one of those little drawers at the side where I sit, to use these up, or at least try to see if this and the glue sticks are any good. So that's that little part, and then the two tapes go in my tape box. So that is reviewed, sorted, and everything I want to keep, except for those few paints. So while I'm on the subject of sorting out glue and everything and paint, I've pulled out this one. This is the basket. Sorry, I'm knocked here a bit. This is the basket that's on my bookcase that I got from IKEA. If you've seen my room tour of my craft room. So these are the things that I've used. You can tell the state of my glue gun. This is the pink one that I got from, I think this one came from, I'd like to say it was Hobbycraft. At least most of the time the glue does actually come off. I'm doing this sort of thing because I've got my plastic mat down. I don't know if you can see that. It's probably not very noticeable. It's to protect the carpet with the wheels of your sort of computer chair and things like that. I've still got one downstairs that I might bring up as well, just to protect carpet and everything. So this is the one I'm actually using. Actually, I'm not sure which one now was. Yeah, I've got two pink ones. This is the one I use the most. This could be the Hobbycraft one, and maybe this one. I don't know whether it was the Range or whether it was Poundland. One of them was Poundland, I know that, if not two. But there's an awful lot of glue, so I've got to heat it up and see if it still works okay. I haven't used my glue gun in a while, so that just shows you. And guess what? I've got another glue gun. This one looks as though it's brand new. Again, this could be a Poundland one. And there's the mat. That came with one of them. And what I like about that is obviously you can just peel the glue off because it doesn't stick. It was a set, so I think it came with that one. I think hubby bought me this. He bought me a couple actually. So at least with that, it comes out. Either that or I use that like pink sort of old chopping board that I never used it as a chopping board, but because it was pink, I used to use it on my desk. So that's a good thing to use that again. That's just empty. And then I've just got a few glue sticks in here. Again, it's just sort of rid of that bit of glue. So in here I'm gonna just put that mat back. I'm gonna put these two because these are the ones that I'm using at the moment, like that, and a few glue sticks, although I know I've got plenty, so I don't need any more. But what I'm going to do is with this other one, I'm going to put it in the box with the others. So I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got 5 glue guns. But I think it's what's happened is a couple of people have bought me them as gifts because I know I used them. These I haven't used yet, admittedly, because I haven't used my glue gun in a while. These came from Temu, and these are to protect your finger when gluing. I haven't actually used it to see whether it works, and because it's silicone, I suppose it just peels off like that matte, but also being careful that it still will be hot glue. So that's those, and I've got a few of those in there. Sorry for the rustle. So that I'm keeping like that, so I'm not tricky. I'll leave that as what I'm using at the moment, and I've stored obviously there. I don't need any more glue sticks and no more glue guns, but like I said, next time I use a glue gun, I'll try these two out first to make sure they still work okay. I think I've decided I'm going to actually move sort of the projects to under my desk. This worked out well when I first sorted it all out. So I've got these here, and then in this one here is like sewing projects. So I was wondering whether to transfer those sprays and glues and everything into these drawers, and I've got a box under my desk of stuff that's got to leave my home, and transfer these. The only one I may leave at the moment, unless it fits in, is like Christmas things, and these are like the pom-poms and things like that. I might keep those. So that's what I might try. It may change, I don't know, and see how this goes. But then if it's under my desk, I can pull a project out. Some of them are not necessarily projects, they're like Lego and everything, things like this. So, and I've got this one, these all came from Temu. I've done a little one that's on my desk. I did start this a while ago. It's the DIY doll's house. I might start having a go back on that. And then I've got another one back here. Let's just take these all up. This is at the side of my granddaughter's desk. And I've got this one as well, which one did I actually have? I can't remember which one this is. Oh, it's got that one. I think that's the one I've got. By the looks of it, the dot. So it's possibly this one. So these are the sort of things. I'm going to give this a go. You know when things work because it goes straight forward, but sometimes it might need a bit of jiggling. Sometimes you get in more of a mess to get back to your original target or aim, and that's what's happening today. So I'm going to move all this. It could change again, I don't know. As I said, I still use the warm, hot and cold method, how I use things when I'm reaching for things, but I want to store my glues somewhere, you know, where I can reach them, but I don't necessarily need them at the moment. Okay, so I've transferred the projects from those two drawers into this leather box that I have under my desk. I thought this might be ideal. I had a box on my shelving in my craft copy originally with my projects. Some of these are really, I keep saying that, I really need to settle down and get stuff done. But I feel as though sometimes I do get tired, especially when I'm still trying to organise my home. I'm about there, I keep saying that, and then like I was about there and ready to video my organisation around my home last year, and then what happens, decide to have new carpets, and before the new carpets I ended up decorating, and then obviously in amongst that getting rid of furniture and all sorts of things and rejiggling rooms. So you know, things do happen. I feel as though I'm getting there. I'm not at the stage where I think I'm taking one step forward and two steps back. It just means that sometimes I get in a mess to get back to my original goal. So I've got my project, and the one thing that I need to do is get my little DIY dollhouse. I did start videoing it. I don't even know if I've still got the footage. I've got a playlist, I'm sure I have, of sort of projects and things I'm getting done, jigsaws and that. It might not be interesting to most people, but if you do jigsaws and things, I've done it sort of as playlist of that sort of thing. You know, just sharing some of the things that I've done. Some of these realistically should go. I am not going to go necessarily through this nail. Probably do some of the smaller ones and this house, because I really did get going on it, but that was last year, and I've just put this here because I haven't got anywhere else to put it. I used it, I was given it, but I used it to decorate a box. If I remember, sometimes I don't when I start piecing it together. I try and share what the one I did make with it, and I think I could do a better job on my second one. I've got this Travel Love piece. This is Create Your Own Bohemian Scrapbook. That was a travelling log, but I lost heart in it due to losing my husband, so that didn't get done. And I think a lot of things in one respect a little bit stale, but I need to sort of decide if I am going to get these projects done. Definitely this and these sort of things. And then some of the things, I've got some cross stitch here, really need to knuckle down or get rid of the projects and pass them on to somebody that's going to use them. So that's that. I've got the other box here. I think it's just down here. But what's happened is that things that were in here were, it's bits and bobs, and you know what I mean, and what's the names. My son laughs at me when I do that. And this is what happens. Tell me if this happens to anybody else. I have got a big drawer in my kitchen with a tackle box thing in. I know that's come off my unit, one of my wardrobes. That's to cover the sort of you know, what do you call it, join. That's what I'm looking for on one of my wardrobes. And things, especially when it was getting decorated and everything, things like this and things like this, and you know, just general anything and everything's gone in here. There's screws in here, you know what I mean. Some of this I think can be just dumped. My son is coming later today, so, or later this morning, but then again I was awake at 4:45. He's probably going to be here about 7:30, 8 o'clock, so you know, later on then probably, I've lost my train of thought here. I do sorry about this, but my software's still not working right. Yeah, so there won't be any sort of cutting out or anything, but yeah, 8 o'clock, not a few hours later than when I got up, let's put it that way. So I've got quite a few of these sort of things, and I'm either got to dump them, or if they're things that we possibly may need or whatever, then I'll make room in the tackle box in my junk room and try and stop this junk room in my junk drawer, but that's also organized as well. So there's things like this pom-pom, you know, there is things that I can just literally dump and not a problem. I do like to keep these because they can be reused, but you know what I mean. And yeah, just general rubbish. I've got a couple of those I need to go through. So this is complete, and then I'm just going to do the other box and put my glues and my you know, paint, the spray paint and everything I have got in the drawers. I don't want to make another mess. I want to try and get this done first of all, but you know what it's like, you know, you start this process of sorting something, then you have to pull something else out, something else out, something else out to get back to the original thing. Like I said, this is still a learning curve of me organising my craft room. So I could have got it all in one drawer, but because the way I didn't want to risk it, I know this is not ideal because I don't think you're supposed to lay paints down. I might just prop it up so it's like that. They can't stand up in the drawer because it's too tall. So what I might do is just sort of do it so it's propped up like that. I don't think they're supposed to be laid down. I think the varnish is all right. I don't know where that's correct. I'll probably have to research it and see, but I've done it like this now because I want to get this done, and then I'll come back to this sort of dilemma. And then I've got my varnishes and everything. These are not what I call necessarily household paints, probably, except for the black, it was for a project. But doing it this way, I can see everything, and my household paints are actually in the small shed. And then in this one, I've got all my glue stuff. Again, there's room there, and this way I can see, do not need any more glue sticks. I kept buying them, or friends and family bought them because they didn't know what else to buy me on occasion. So I have got a lot. And I've got obviously 3 guns here and 2, which is on my shelf here, there. But this is the sort of thing that needs to be sorted. So I always put like for like, but every time I went out also, whether it was with family or friend, I ended up going through a stage getting a lot of these glue sticks, especially when I was doing a number of projects that needed a glue gun. So that's done, and the white box is now empty. As you know, I then will my sort of wrapping station back here. So that's done. So I've just got to sort my desk out now. Except obviously filming and keep pausing. This is supposed to be done fairly quickly and make decisions, except obviously I'm talking through it with you. So this is the pile. Some of them I had in my little Peter Rabbit tin, so they need to find a home. The thing is, sometimes when I've got quite a lot on my plate or want to process my aim very quickly in a certain area, I try and do things as quickly as possible. So I did, out of my sort of projects drawer that's now in under the desk, I'm keeping this out, and this Sayings one, which is colouring, so I'm going to use those, but I'm going to just put them here. My planner normally goes here, but I'm moving, that's my cleaning box, going to go with sort of all my other lists that I reach for, because it's just there. This is the thing about the warm, hot and cold method. Right, so these sort of things, what I'm going to do, I've decided for the time being, is I'll just slide this out. This is what slides under that little unit I got from IKEA that fits under my desk, and that was the whole reason, because originally I was going to empty my old desk and move stuff out, but I haven't really got room for any more boxes at this precise time. Plus, I do like the setup, and I often have to warn my granddaughter, Warner, just tell her that not to use my washi tapes that are in the drawer or my notebooks, because some of them are like past planners and diaries, which I think I probably will burn, destroy. I've got quite a few sort of to-do lists that go back over a fair few years. So yeah, this is the glue I use a lot of the time. I've just realised this is the set. I think I've got one that I've started, but this is the only one I've got. But I know it smells strong, but I only use it sort of in short bursts, if that makes sense. But what I liked about it is because it actually glues a lot of things. Got some that can just be dumped, because I've got my nice ones here, got my stitch ones that I got from Temu, so I prefer to use that. So what I think I'll do is I'm going to use this because it's right down here, you can see my fingers. I'm going to use this to put sort of the glues and everything, and the ones that I want to try. So like these sort of things that I'm going to try and use, I'm going to put those, I'll move that over, in these sort of places like this to use. And I've got little sticky pads, because these sort of things I use a lot. My little ones are at the other side. I'll reach over and get those in a moment. Because I was using those in some card making. So these sort of things also, I've put those in there. That round one, that can go in this round hole here. And then I've got some glue dots here. So that's how I'm going to use it. So basically it will be my sort of glue sort of organizer at the moment. The ones that I'm using, except for my glue gun, that is separate. So that is all done. The idea is to get this all sorted, so I've got no pieces left, nothing on the floor, nothing in a bag or a box, if that makes sense. So I really want to get this sort of bit done and do it as quickly as I can. So that just slots back in, which I'll do that in a moment. I've got to share these. These came from Temu. I don't think I actually shared these previously. I do like these ones. I've got some, sorry for the rustle, I've got some clear ones that I use, but these are obviously stitch, and it is gorgeous. I think they were £1.49, I think, and they're just obviously like that. So I do like my stitch, like I said, and these will be handy for, say, little snacks or things, even to curl in my bag, especially when I go to the hospital. So I've got 1, 2, 3, for, yeah, a set of 5. I think there's something like £1.49. I know obviously the ones that haven't got the character on are a lot cheaper, and I use those for all my other sort of embellishments and everything. So these I'm going to store down at the side here. That's got my rest of my folders and things, spare ones for my filing cabinet. So I'm going to get this put away before I do anything else. Okay, so I finished that and everything's put away and found a home. As I say, anything that hasn't got a home and doesn't necessarily have to be kept is just getting dumped. I'm sure you have had this. This is one of my ketchup baskets. I had 2. I think I still got the other one stored but not in use. Used to keep one upstairs and one downstairs, especially when I had a lot of red. I'd like to be able to change that and use that as a pattern and have it as black and white gingham instead of red. I'm not the brilliant sewer, so I might have to reach out to a family or friend to help me with that. But this is things that I've put in here, and like I said, I try not have my ketchup bowls, basket, bag or whatever as a permanent holding pen. It has to be sorted. So while I'm sitting here at my desk, I thought I'm going to get this done. Everything's going to have a home, else it's going to get put in the bin. And some of the things are quite important, as I've just realised this is actually my charger for my hedge cutter for my front garden, my main hedge. So I'm glad I found that used to sit behind my armchair in my lounge. I've got that little black unit now and my little teddy bear table, if you know what I mean, in the cream, because that's where I used to charge my battery up for my edge cutter, as previously before I just had one that plugs in with a cable, but we went for this one. So that has to go somewhere safe, and so I know where it is. So my idea is to go through this and make quick snap decisions. I'll do this on camera because it might encourage you or inspire you if you've got things like this. Well done to you lot that don't end up like this. As I said, we went through a stage where every room was a mess. About, I would say, middle to end of November, I think we were done, ready for beginning December, so I could get my tree up and everything. But there was an awful lot of stuff like those screws and everything, which I've got that little box left, which I'm wait till my son comes and go through that, along with my tackle box in my junk drawer. But I've explained that. So going through all this, so this, I've got a number of these. I've used a lot of these for holidaying or any lists or anything. So I'm going to keep this one. I put it with the others that I've got, which I think is under this acrylic thing actually. So I grab these when I need to make bullet points, shopping lists sometimes. So that goes in there. Right, this I'm just going to get rid of. That came off a t-shirt that I got from the charity shop. And this notebook, I'm not going to open it. This is my son's because it's got some receipts in, but I've gave him a folder now for his receipts, but he can have that, so that's going. This has never really been used. This is when I worked for Avon and everything, so it can be used for pencils and notelets and things like that, but I'm going to let that one go. I don't know whether I actually included that before. I think because it was in here, I was going to pass it on, so that is going to go. I think I'm going to ask my friend if she wants it and see maybe one of her grandkids wants it, because it could be used as a little craft bag or with pens or something. I think that's what I was going to do. So that item is going to go. So I've got the notebook to go to my son. That's going. I'm being quick. This is a scarf that came off a bear. But because I leave my bear out, it's actually in my lounge at the moment because it's cream coloured. So I'm going to that's just going to be dumped. This is what I'm saying. I knew I had another one somewhere, is this paint pot that will go in that drawer now. I've sorted it. I think this in here is actually things that I was keeping, but I am going to put it all straight away. That's the idea. I need to get some more Vaseline, but because this has been open, I don't know how long it's been open, I'm going to just dump that. I've got some pens that I need to check. That came off a whole thing. That can just be dumped. It's things like this when I was having things done. That shelving put up in my decor cupboard upstairs. So realistically, these should go in the shed, but unfortunately, I can't get in the shed because I've got so much going to the tip. Might get rid of some of it today, I don't know. So that's that and that. So that basically should go in the shed. May end up, if it fits, in my junk drawer in my kitchen, or I can put it in the drawer I've got here actually behind me that has extra screwdrivers and things like that. So I'll use that to check my pens. I presume because they're in here they do work. That's a emery board. I think this is a new one and I like the case, so I think it's not actually been used. So this is sort of thing that would go in my handbag. Always handy to have one of those. What else we've got? Oh, that's just an empty bag that can go straight in the bin. That belongs to my Hoover. I'm sure that belongs to my Hoover. An attachment that's got separated. This stitch actually broke, but I'm going to see if I can get it reattached and see if maybe myself and my son could do something, because I want to keep that one. So that's definitely a keep. Like I said, I don't think this is necessarily stuff to get rid of. I think it was to find homes for, looking at it. That's an instruction for one of the drones that can go to my son. So I'm going to put that in the notebook. I'll do that off camera because it's got receipts and papers in. So there's that. And then I've just got things like these washers and little screws and everything. Again, they can go in my bit drawer. I've got a glass jar now. That's a question mark on that one. I don't know if I need it. And more washer and that one. I will probably use this for stuff that's got to go downstairs, but it's not going to stay in there. I'm definitely going to put it away. That's the whole point of this video. Okay, so these are glass jars that are empty at the moment. I've kept them in case I want to do something. So I'm going to keep hold of that black one at the moment. This actually goes just under here on top of the unit. Then, because I haven't put the rods in because it fits just nicely underneath. And then I keep these sort of things. I used to get a lot of these, I think, from Wilko's. I'm sure they were. They are actually revision card things. I think the black one possibly did actually come from Poundland, I think. I think that one might have come from Wilko's. They're the sort of things that I use for making notes. I'm keeping my glass jars at the moment because in here, because they're out of the way. I don't want to get rid of them just yet until, you know, I might want to sort some little things out. If you remember that red apple I sorted out, I'm trying to have that just for buttons. So maybe other little things might go in there. But you have to take into consideration, you know, like these two little wooden sort of caravans. I don't know how easy they would be to get in there. So that can go back under my desk, out the way. I've put a few things in my baskets down here on the floor. That's everything that's got to go downstairs. That's got to go in with the paints, like I said. My handbag. I want to check these pens. That's I've got a tackle box. I keep saying that. And then I've got these stickers. I don't know why, unless they're ones I'm not going to use. Let me just have a quick look, because I really want to finalise these sort of things. I think these, yeah, mean, I'm not going to say it, but look, if that comes up, yeah, I think you have the moral backbone of a chocolate eclair. I think these, I'm just going to dump. They're not the sort of stickers that I would use. I took out the ones that I wanted. So I presume these all work. Like I said, I've got my pen split up between blue and black. I love this one. I've got one actually with my, I think that's black. Sometimes it's hard to know. That one's black. I've got a couple of these actually. Yeah. Not sure where I got those from. But yeah, I do like those. I think this one was the range. Yeah. So this should be blue. Yeah, I think I did actually check these before, but I don't want to put pens away that don't actually work. That's blue. So that's that done. I'll keep that one for the time being. I'll put that with my little notes, although I do like my sort of stitch ones here. So sort of going out, I do like to keep checking things. I've got my little stitch ones here. I've got some little ribbons and a few bits in there, but I think I'll do that on another sort of session. Just obviously check my pieces here. I can go back in there. Yeah, so I've got my other stitch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to slot that in there as a reminder, because I want to see if I can get that sorted. So yeah, so I'm going to put these two items away next and empty that basket, and then that will be done and dusted. So I've put it here. It's not stopping here, but I'll be needing it in probably the next few days, if not today. That's just stuck on there. That's from the boxes. They do come off, so I can re-stick them. This is not going for charity, obviously, but I've left it on this ledge. It's in my walk-in cupboard downstairs because I will need it, and then I decide where to store it. I don't really, I suppose necessarily it should be kept with the edge cutter, but I might keep it upstairs in my drawer that's got all my other bits in, like extra screwdrivers, and I think the same is with these things. Sorry for the jolt. Sorry about that. My second alarm went off this morning, just now. Yes, so those things. And this thing here, if I put it down, doesn't belong to my Hoover. I just thought, I think this goes on a pole. Excuse my nails again. Goes on a pole, and then the paintbrush goes in there. I've got a feeling that's what it is. I'll have a word with my son, and I think it goes, say, on a pole with a paintbrush. I think that's what it was. Thinking about it, because I thought, yeah, it's not actually for my Hoover as I thought. And then these I will put in my drawer along with anything else, like screw packets and things. If it's oddments, they go in the tackle box, but everything else goes in the drawer in my craft room. Here's the tackle box here that I tend to put all those little things in, and I do regularly sort it out, but I'm not going to do it today due to the fact, obviously, I'm in my craft room and I don't want to start another job. I tend to keep all my sort of command strips and things in here, things that get missed from games. That's just a bit of rubbish, like these sort of things. I actually got rid of the Easter tree, so some of this stuff could actually go. That was off my pink gingerbread house at Christmas. Some old screws, things, and that obviously got missed. That was from autumn. So I will do this eventually. There's a ball there. I don't know if that came from my bingo game or something else, you know, something like that, another bingo game. But yeah, and then I've got some you know, the hooks for pictures, but I have got some sets also in my bit drawer. So yeah, I do regularly sort this out, but sometimes there's always those little bits that end up keeping. But this will be for another day. Definitely, I can sort that out, have a tray in the lounge and sort that out while I'm watching TV. So back in my craft room now, I'm sort of sharing the process. It might not be exciting, but just to explain that I am getting things sorted. So these sort of things realistically could go in the big shed along with all the other stuff. But until I've emptied it to stuff to go to the tip, can't do that. So I've just got other things in here, sandpaper and all sorts of things. Sort of these doorknobs that I didn't end up using because we got some from Amazon for my kitchen, extra screwdrivers and things. This does not badly need sorting, but some of the stuff hopefully will go in the shed. And my basket is now empty. So I think I'm going to do this in parts, depending on what else I sort of get done today. My son's on his way. It's just gone 8 o'clock now. So this part is finished. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.